Hello Pisces, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Pisces is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Pisces, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. Two of Cups, love, right? This is your first card, station. It's your sort of subjective experience of life. This is how you see yourself, right? You see yourself as worthy of love. You see yourself as someone who has a lot of love to give. Maybe you feel like you are the one holding things together in life right now. In your work, at home, at school, in your personal life, private life, in your love life, that you're the one putting in the work. Okay? This is a card of self-love, divine love, platonic love, and romantic love. This is really, I think, the way you see yourself. You are love. You are embodying love. And I think that you're focused on self-love, okay? And how your self-love, your care and concern and your value, your self-worth is affecting all of your other relationships. If you don't love yourself, you're not really gonna love other people in a very powerful way either, okay? Let's put this card into a little bit of context. I like where we're starting out. We have a Three of Pentacles. You love something, you're going to make it work. Three of Pentacles. Five of Cups. Eight of Pentacles. The Hanged Man. The Hermit. Ah, okay, interesting. Interesting. We have a Princess of Cups, a Three of Wands, a Queen of Swords, and 10 of Swords. Okay, the fight of your life is coming, and Spirit wants you ready, okay? Because something is diminishing, something is heading in the wrong direction, and it's heading towards ruin. It's heading toward you going hermit mode, okay? And so this is kind of a call to action for you. In whatever situation this is about, if this is work, home, school, if it's some kind of a love thing, it's something that you love, there is a risk. It feels like it's under threat right now, okay? So we need to pay close attention to what's going on, and not take anything for granted right now, not taking anything as just a given or a guarantee. We don't want this to end up as a 10 of Swords. We don't want to end up in hermit mode, which to me feels like you will be separated from something that you love, whether this is a pet, a plant, a person, whether this is your I don't know, your activity, your job, or your partner, your friends. We don't want to be separated from that. This is something that you love. You need to focus on what it needs right now in order to make it work. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it right here with Mr. Tao, the yin-yang duck, right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Okay? Now, as we look around the room, major arcana, 2 major arcana cards. The idea here is that you either sacrifice for this love or you sacrifice the love. Okay? You've got fire. You got water, water, water. Air over here, earth over here. In fact, we have the Hermit as an earth energy too. This is a Virgo energy. It kind of is implying that we need to take a good, long, hard look inside of ourselves to understand what is the trend here. Where are things heading? And do you like where they're going? To me, it feels like they're heading towards ruin. Okay? This does not guarantee an outcome. This is the position of the destiny card or whatever, but this isn't a foregone conclusion. This isn't a guaranteed outcome. Spirit doesn't give you guaranteed. The tarot doesn't give you guaranteed outcomes. It's saying the way things are going, this is the result. There's a reason why people get tarot readings, right? We get a snapshot of the energy. We see what is the current trend and whether you just need to ride the wave because you like it, or if this isn't where I want it to go, you can make a change, okay? You have to give something your love right now. Something in your life needs you. You need you. Your pets, your plants, your people need you, whatever it is, your job. You have to give your love to something if you want to avert this ending, okay? We don't want that to be the result. So the 3 of Pentacles is a card of understanding the process of change on the physical plane. You understand kind of like cause and effect. You understand that the way the ball is rolling now, you can kind of look ahead and see where it might hit. So this implies that we need to change something, that your love can change the outcome here. Your willingness to sacrifice for the thing that you love will help to, I think, avert disaster. We can steer clear of that 10 of Swords at the end, okay? Because I don't think you want this to end. I think you want it to work. Even though things aren't perfect here, we have a 5 of Cups. See, we have a 3 and a 2 here. This is a 5 also, right? And the 5 is the number of like getting busy, getting to work, doing things, right? It's the 5-fingered hand reaching out, and to me it feels like here you're applying your love to something. You're reaching out with a compassionate touch, and you're helping something or someone. Okay, you're getting the super glue and you're trying to fix this thing. Maybe we're trying to put something back together or reconcile. Maybe we're trying to keep something from falling apart. Sometimes, the car needs a little duct tape, some zip ties, a little bit of super glue, keep things together. Okay. Under the surface, you have a 5 of Cups. The 5 of Cups is a card of disappointment. It's a card of you acknowledging that something isn't right, something isn't perfect, that something is kind of suffering right now. Something isn't as harmonious as it could be. The 5 of Cups is your emotions saying, hey, look at me. There's something going on that you need to pay attention to. You need to give it some love. Maybe this is really about you. Maybe this is saying that, look, you need to give yourself some love. We need to super glue our heart back together a little bit. Okay? In order to prevent something from going in the wrong direction. We want something to go up and to the right, not kind of down. We don't want things to get worse. We don't want our life or this plan or this relationship to head toward ruin. So we have to be able to subvert that in some way. Okay. And the 5 is that feeling inside of you. This is kind of like our heart is aching. And maybe this is a relationship for you. Maybe this is, whatever it is. I feel like it's a relationship of some kind. But with whom or with what, I don't know. You know what it is. But this is that pained feeling, like we don't want to look at it because it hurts. But we have to look at it. It's like you stub your toe on the bed frame or something, and it's like you don't want to look at it because it hurts. But it's hurting because it needs you to look at it. You look at it, you see what's broken or what's wrong or what happened. You see the damage, and then you can fix it. Anytime I stub my toe or I stub my finger and you just kind of grab it and you just hold on to it and you're just thinking, ow, 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 and you don't want to look at it. Eventually you got to look at it. Ooh, it's bad. Eventually you look at it. But sometimes first, I sliced my pinky finger a few years ago. That's why my tattoo's all messed up on that finger. I sliced my finger in the kitchen, and the first thing you do is you grab it. You grab it and you squeeze, right? That's a good thing, right? It's instinctual. It stops the blood. Gives the blood time to coagulate. You get it, Then, eventually you got to look at it. And then you see what happened. You think, okay, all right, I can fix this, right? Maybe I should have got stitches. I didn't, but it wasn't that bad. But, that initial instinct is just to grab it and hold on to it. Give it a squeeze, okay? And trust that instinct. I feel like that is really about you, like just giving something a hug, just reaching out and embracing something or someone. Yeah. And then really taking a look at what's going on and say, okay, how do we fix this? Not you by yourself fixing this, but together. How do you work on this? You're working on your relationship. You're working on your friendship. You're working on your work. Maybe this is a job. You're working on your school stuff. I don't know. At first, you got to really be honest about how bad it is. Yeah. First thing you got to, instinctually, first thing you do, you got to embrace the other thing. And you got to let it know yourself. Maybe this is you giving yourself a hug or your partner or your friend and saying, we got this. We're in this together. We'll figure it out. First thing is that instinctual hug. And then is really to kind of sit down and really look at the problem and figure out what needs to happen. In the background, you have the 8 of Pentacles. This is a card of caution. It's the card of taking things very slowly. Okay? And that might really be the answer here. That we can't rush through a healing process. Okay, that it's going to be a slow healing. Yeah. Perhaps the 8 of Pentacles, because it's in the background, it might be saying that this was, for a long time, there's been an issue. For a long time, there's been something under the surface that's been sort of eating away at the relationship. But nobody really noticed, Or maybe you did, but maybe it's just out of sight, out of mind. This was something that was missed, something that's been there, that's been overlooked. It's like, oh, the tree looks fine, but if you look really, really close, you might see that it's got some kind of fungus or, I don't know, whatever happens to trees, right? Because this card typically is the sun in Virgo. It's an attention to detail. And to me, it kind of feels like maybe a detail's been missed. Or maybe that we've been so focused on one particular aspect of the relationship that you missed the bigger picture. Or you were looking for the mote, in the other person's eye, and you failed to see the beam in your own. Yeah. So focused on the smaller details that we miss the really glaring issue, the kind of elephant in the room type of situation, okay? The Hanged Man at the top is a card of suffering and sacrifice. I feel like you're somebody who is willing to sacrifice for what you love. You're willing to suffer for it. You're willing to do the hard thing. And this is kind of the question, I guess, that you have to ask yourself. Is this thing worth saving? Is this something that you're willing to go through the really difficult healing process for and with this other person or whatever it might be? I feel like it's a person. I mean, it's very likely it's a person. Is that relationship with him worth your continued suffering and sacrifice? Or are you willing to sacrifice the relationship and go hermit mode, go your own way, walk away? Because that's better for you. Well, maybe. Spirit's not telling you of the right or wrong answer. Spirit's telling you that you have to either sacrifice for the relationship or sacrifice the relationship. And you have the choice. You'll always have the choice of walking away or returning to this and doing what you have to do to make it work. Figuring it out. The Three of Pentacles, right, is kind of a card of figuring it out, making it work. You love something, you make it work. You sacrifice for it. You see where things have gone wrong. You admit that, there was some, I should have seen the signs and all that stuff. You got to forgive yourself. You can't dwell on the past. You're driving a car, it breaks down one day, and you think, you know what? It's been making a weird sound for a few months now, and I just didn't bother to check it or take it in, and your mechanic's like, how dare you? Yeah, but it happens, Sometimes we don't think the little signs, the subtleties are really meaningful, but they kind of add up. So the hermit mode kind of becomes the way forward for you. Making that decision, doing the introspective work of the hermit, shining that light inside of yourself, and really asking those hard questions. Do you love this enough to sacrifice for it and make it work? Do you love this enough to suffer for it? Are you willing to sacrifice the relationship and move in a different way, go in a different direction? No, nobody can see inside of you except for you. Nobody can tell you what your truth is or what the right choice is for you. That's why there's not a lot of swords cards here. There's not a lot of communication going on, is there? There needs to be more. But right now you have to communicate with yourself and you have to look deep inside and say, do you still love this? Do you still want it? Do you still care about it? If you care about it and you want to make it work, it's going to be the fight of your life. It's going to be the most difficult thing you've ever done. It may be very easy to just let it go. It may seem like it would be easy to just let it go. Let's talk about the path of the serpent. We're going to start with our Princess of Cups. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. The Princess of Cups is emotion and behavior, and isn't really all that aware of consequences. Sometimes just behaves in ways that it feels in the moment. This is your general energy. So it may be that you're a little emotionally impulsive. This is a car that if it feels good, I'm going to do it. If it doesn't feel good, I'm not going to do it. That can get us in trouble because it doesn't consider the long term. It doesn't consider the future at all. It doesn't consider the future you, let alone, how other people might respond to this behavior. So it could be that you've been wrapped up in a lot of your own stuff, and we haven't been seeing that. You haven't really been listening to the signs or seeing the signs of any kind of trouble in this situation, because you've been kind of living in the moment, kind of being how you feel, being caught up in your own emotions. Maybe this is very positive. Maybe you've been just going through life thinking everything is hunky-dory, whatever that means. Everything is fine. Everything is bliss. Not really thinking of the other person's perspective. Okay. And then we start to feel kind of naive. We start to think, gosh, how could I have just been, like all the days I was smiling and laughing and having a good time. Meanwhile, there's been this problem under the surface. Something's been eroding the relationship the whole time, where you're just out here having fun and thinking everything's great, you know. Be thankful that you're aware of something now. Okay, we're able to keep ourselves in check. This is also that card of like not letting your emotions drive the car right now. Because yeah, of course, it seems struggle, fighting for my life and long-term kind of, you know, stress, and nah, I don't want that. So your surface level emotions might be telling you, yeah, just run, just get out of there, go hermit mode. You don't need that. Okay, but that would be letting the Princess of Cups drive the car. We don't want to let the kids drive the car. The surface level emotions, if it feels good, you're going to do it. When it stops feeling good, guess what? You're going to run. Guess what? It doesn't feel good right now. I think that you kind of got stopped in your tracks. I think things were feeling very, very good, and then suddenly, oh, you mean things aren't perfect? Then you got to really get control over this princess whose first instinct is to run. It doesn't feel good. I'm out of here. So the first thing really is kind of restraining this with, well, that's the Three of Wands, the virtue. The virtue is knowing the right thing to do and doing it, knowing the wrong thing to do and not doing it. Virtue works both ways. It's not just about positive actions and choices and decisions and behaviors. It's about, you know, inhibiting our instinct to kind of run away or to do the wrong thing. Okay? Your first instinct might be to run away, or to let your surface level emotions steer the vehicle. And that's always a bad idea, right? So in the environment, we have a Three of Wands. This is the Sun in Aries. This is, you know, this card is about someone who can see clearly the issue, like looking at the car and thinking, okay, the car broke down. How do I fix it? Not trying to blame other people. Not saying, oh, I should have listened. I heard the clunking sound. I saw something dripping on the driveway and I just ignored it. You know, not beating yourself up over it, but being able to look at the situation and thinking, what is the proactive step? You know, like prospectively, what do I need to do? What's the work? Let's get to work. Identifying the work and doing it. Getting to work, right? Three of Wands, Three of Pentacles, fire and earth. The spiritual electrical circuit of creation. Yeah, knowing the right thing to do and doing it. Knowing the wrong thing to do and not doing it. Fire and earth, manifesting from an intentional place. Promoting the good and inhibiting the sort of not so good choices and behaviors. There's impulse to behavior, fire to earth, above to below, inside to outside. Inspiration to implementation, will to action, impulse and behavior. Okay, impulse and behavior. It has to go through the human heart and mind. For the fire to connect with earth, it has to go through the water and the air. Your thoughts and feelings. Going through your feelings without the balance of your mind, of your logic, your intellect, your reasoning, without that kind of modulation, you're going to be just, you know, acting. Your emotions are going to change your intention into what it wants, what they want, and that's going to become your behavior. And then, well, then you're going to be the Princess of Cups, right? So what we have is the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords is getting the bird's eye view. Now, first of all, the queens are the watery aspect of the suit that they're in. So this is the watery energy in the air. okay? To me, it feels like we're getting all the feelings out in the open. We're clearing the air. We're getting everything, getting all the feelings out there. We're communicating. It feels like this is also your ability to identify your emotions and use a higher reasoning faculty to understand your emotions, to understand how you feel. Okay? And not let those emotions interfere with your true intentions here. Okay, not being clouded by your emotions. This is somebody who's risen above their emotions. Okay, there still is that depth of feeling inside, but they're able to see things clearly because you're up here in the atmosphere. You've risen above the lake, risen above the ocean of water, and you're able to see the water because you're way up high in the sky, right? Looking down, you see the water. You see all the trouble in the water. You see the trouble up ahead. This is that bird's eye view. It's like you're on the beach and you went up, and you're looking down and you see the beach, you see the water, you see everything out in the distance. You say, okay, this is what we're dealing with. You know how you feel, because that's part of the equation. Part of your observation is the emotions. Okay, you're taking them into account and you're saying, well, this is going to be difficult. This is going to be a lot of hurt feelings. There's going to be probably a lot of crying. If this is going to be a struggle, this is going to be a fight, this is going to be work. You're looking at the long term, and you're sort of seeing the Ten of Swords, and you're thinking, if you don't do something now, things are doomed. Things are going to end. And it's really the hermit's choice if you're going to let things end, or if you're going to intervene and say, no, you're not going to let things end. You're going to put in the work that it takes to restore this, to put something back together, to superglue these swords that are all broken. Well, I want to look at the mystery card. I want to do first, let's do a botanical inspiration card. The Camellia, destiny. It is not in the stars to hold our destiny, but in ourselves. Oh, that's really wonderful. Because this is the destiny card. So this is an echo of what I said earlier, that's saying this is not a guaranteed outcome. It's not in the stars to hold your destiny. This isn't doomed and guaranteed to end this way. You hold the destiny in yourself. You can choose something else to put there. Let's put this there. The Knight of Wands. The mystery card, Knight of Wands. Leaping into action. Jumping forward. Not saying, oh, nah, that's too hard. I'm going to go do something else. You're leaping into action. It's like you see somebody you see a car accident on the road. And what do? Do you sit there and think, well, I'm just going to pretend I didn't see it and walk away? No, you're going to run over there and you're going to make sure people are okay. You're going to get on your phone. You're going to, you're leaping into action. Rather than just accepting this as being inevitable, that is not written in stone. It's the destiny position in my spread, but it's not a guaranteed outcome. It's the likely outcome if nothing changes. If the hermit turns its back on the situation, if your feelings remain under the surface, if the Princess of Cups continues to drive the car, yeah, that's going to be the outcome. That is you putting on your superhero cape and changing reality, changing the course of events. Because destiny it's not in the stars to hold your destiny, but in yourself. The fight of your life is coming. Spirit wants you ready. This is worth saving, okay? Now, we're going to do an extended reading as well if you want to stick around. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link in the corner. And there's a link down below in the video description. New readings for Pisces Tuesdays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you are watching from. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.